Hey there friend, Hector here from HardStyleandStrongAsHeck.com with this week's Movement Monday of the week. So I'm literally going to get ready to start my deadlift session for today, and I thought I'd take you through one of my movement flows that I go through before I do any kind of deadlifting. So obviously the deadlift really works the extensors and it really works the back, right? And obviously it works the hips as well. So everything that I'm going to be taking you through today and everything that I'm going to be doing through today for my flow is going to be focused in the prone position. So when I say prone, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be laying flat on my stomach, although there may be some postures where I'm flat on my belly. But prone essentially means face down. So prone position can be anything from a bear crawl, a baby crawl, there's even like a leopard crawl, push-up position. Those are all prone positions because I'm face down. Supine positions would be anything where I'm face up, but I don't necessarily have to be laying on my back, okay? So the first thing that we're going to be starting with is I always like to start my movements. Obviously breathing is paramount. Breathing is the most important thing that you should really focus on. Breathing can do a couple of things for you. Breathing can either make you really relaxed and really flexible, or breathing can make you really rigid, really strong at the same time, okay, and really tight. So depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, you need to know how to properly breathe and when to breathe for relaxation and when to breathe for tension and power and strength. So we're going to be breathing obviously diaphragmatically, okay, and I'm going to be starting from my stomach, and I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing a half roll. So basically I'm only going to be rolling halfway and then coming back, and I'm going to be using my legs. So for one, it's going to open up my hips on both sides, and it's also really going to activate the extensors of my lower back, my whole entire back actually, and it's going to really engage my core, and it's just going to feel really good. This is something that I always like to start my flows off with, and that is some piece of segmented rolling. Okay, so I'm going to lie here with my head facing you. That way you can kind of see what my legs and what my body is doing. So I'm never going to actually roll to my back. So the segmented roll is a pretty popular, and typically I would reach back like so, and I would roll all the way towards my back. But I'm not going to do that today. Today's going to be a half roll. Hands overhead, okay? And you want to imagine that you're, I guess, paralyzed from the waist up, and essentially don't use your hands. Don't cheat and push with your hands, okay? So I'm face down, okay? I'm going to breathe in and out through the nose, and I'm going to bring my leg up, and I'm going to kick back around like this, and I'm really going to reach for the wall back behind me. So right now my glute is on really tight. I can feel this up my back, and I'm going to stop the moment that my foot just kind of touches the floor back here, and I'm going to breathe. And I usually cycle a couple of breaths here. And then I come back. And I'm going to do the other side. And then as soon as my leg touches, I stop. And then I come back. And I'm just going to do that one more on each side. I'll typically run through both sides like 5 times per side. So we're engaging all the musculature of the back, all of the erectors. You're really getting the glutes to turn on, which is all essential, right, for the deadlift. Plus I'm reflexively engaging my core, my midsection, opening my hip flexors, basically everything that needs to make a deadlift really, really good and really effective. everything that makes a deadlift very effective is basically what this half roll with the lower body is actually doing. And then the next one, I literally just kind of come up onto my forearms, kind of like a sphinx position, and I'll just diaphragmatically breathe here. And I'll breathe here for about maybe 3 minutes. And so I'll turn to the side here. So what I'm doing in this position, you can see, is my neck stays neutral. Okay, I don't necessarily bring my chin all the way up. You can. I am going to be keeping my neck fairly neutral, and I'll just gaze my eyes straight ahead. So I'm actively pushing the floor away through my elbow. Okay, I don't want my shoulders to shrug up into my neck. I actively push away. Okay, my glutes are tight. Okay, I'm not purposely squeezing my glutes, just by the nature of me extending up like so, my glutes activate a little bit. Okay, and I just breathe here. So I'm not going to bore you with me going through the whole breath cycle, but generally I will breathe from this position. I'll breathe here for about 3 minutes. And so this is going to help improve your posture. This is going to strengthen your back. And since we're in extension here, we're really working the extensors. My glutes are on because of going to extension. Okay, so my glutes extend my hip. So right now my glutes are on, my extensors are up, and I'm breathing, improving my posture, getting my core activated, etc. Okay, so from here, now that I've gone through 3 minutes of breathing from this position, I'm going to push up, and I'm going to push up into a 6-point position. You can do 4-point if you like. 4-point would be my knees would be coming up off the floor. Okay, so just for the purpose of today's lesson, we're going to do 6-point. So my knees stay underneath my hips, my feet are going to drag the floor. Okay, and I'm going to turn and face you, and what I'm going to do is I keep my neck neutral as always. Why am I insisting on a neutral neck? Well, for one, because that is the neck position that I'm going to try to maintain as I get ready to pull. So I don't want to bring my neck up. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This is just a preference for me. I want to keep my neck packed in and keeping my neck neutral. That's my preference. Okay. If you like to be here and crank your neck all the way up, you can do that. There's a trade-off. Just understand that there's a trade-off when you do that. When you bring your neck all the way up into extension like that, you're going to light up all the extensors of your back, which is great, right? That's what you want for the deadlift. But you also turn off a lot of the muscles that are in the front, okay? That are muscles that contract the abs. So when you look down and you bring your chin down like this, you contract all these muscles here, but you turn off the muscles of the back. So I like to just find a happy medium where I keep my neck neutral. That way I kind of get a little bit of both, okay? So whenever I'm in this quadruped position, I'm just going to do what we call in the GFM system, what we call the X lift. So we're going to bring opposite hand and leg up off the floor. You can bring your hand to your shoulder, or you can just elevate like this. I create this virtual X. What this is doing is this is reflexively getting my core to engage, okay? And you just basically do both sides. You can touch your shoulder like so, or you can just elevate like this. So that's kind of getting your body, you're crossing midline, you're connecting left shoulder to right hip, right shoulder to left hip, right? And then I'll just go through some crawls. I don't go very far. I literally just do maybe 5 paces forward, 5 paces back, and I'll do that maybe like 3 times. 5 paces forward, 5 paces back, that would be 1, and then I'd repeat that for 5 total times. I'll turn to the side here so you can kind of see what I look like. So, and I let the top of my feet drag the floor for this. This is, again, you can tuck your toes. For this one, I just like to let my feet drag the floor for this 6-point crawl. So Notice that my neck stays neutral. I'm not bringing it up here. My neck stays here, and I'm looking about 3 to 6 feet out in front. And I go through this little movement like this. I'll go through this a few times, and then after that, I begin to crawl 5 paces forward, 5 paces back. Okay? Tucking your toes. Tucking your toes is a great piece to add to your foot mobility because it mobilizes the big toe, which is really responsible for the health of the bottom of your foot. So doing some crawls when your toes are tucked is very beneficial, but also doing them when your toes are pointed. That way you're working both angles of ankle mobility, which is plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. Okay, so you definitely want to get both of those in there. And then the last one is pushing up from that crawl position. I'm going to go into what we call a push-up position. So I'm not technically doing a push-up. I'm just going to be in like a push-up. It's going to look like a plank, a push-up position. And then from there, I'm going to go into a scorpion position. You can also, this also looks like you're doing some kind of like a yoga pose, like a sun salutation yoga pose. So basically from crawl, once I go through my paces here, I'll just step my legs back, and now my feet are together, and now I'm in push-up. Okay, so from here I will push and shift my body weight back and bring my one leg up like so. Okay, this is going to give you a really nice stretch from the Achilles all the way up through the hamstring up into the back. Okay, when I extend this leg back, I'm opening my hip flexor, getting my glute to contract here on that side, and also I'm really working my shoulders. Okay, so this is really working the shoulders because I'm now essentially in an overhead position. So imagine pressing like maybe a barbell, dumbbell, or kettlebell overhead. You're basically imitating that position from this downward dog posture. So from here, okay, I shift back, and as I shift back, I go into this Cobra. Kind of looks like a single leg deadlift. Okay, I'll come back down, shift back again, come back down, and then the next one, I'm going to go into a scorpion. It's going to kind of look like a scorpion's tail. So this would be roof, okay, coming into this roof position. Almost my body's pretty much a 90-degree angle. And then I would bring my leg up like this and let my hip open up like so. Come back down, and I come back into push-up. Shift back, here, let my leg flip over, and then I would run through that. Left and right would be 1, and then I'd flow through that about 5 times. After I go through the whole sequence, I'm ready to deadlift. I've hit all the muscles that I'm now about to use. Extensors, right? Trunk, through the breathing. Opened up my hip flexors, activated my glutes, all of that from being face down in that prone position. So that's this week's Movement Monday for the week. Give that a try. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions, you can leave something in the comment section below. If you're looking for some more free resources, I've also left you a couple of links to some other free resources from my blog. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you have any questions about this week's Movement Monday episode, leave me a comment in the comment section below.